Welcome to Calcutta Races Monsoon Meeting, third day, Tuesday, 16 July 2019. We move on to the first race, which is the Hearts Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1600 meters. We're looking at number 1, Dakshesh. Dakshesh's last outing was in the winter season in race number 207 over 1400 meters, where Dakshesh travelled 8th till it turned for home and then gained a few places and fell back to finish on 6th. And the winner of that race was City Heights. Number 2 will be Princess Romela. Princess Romela, multi-dimensional out of Margarita Rita, finished 13th in its last outing in the winter season in race number 189 over 1600 meters, where the winner of that race was 7 Step. We're looking at number 3, Modification. Modification's last outing was in race number 204 in the winter season over 5.5 furlongs, that's 1100 meters, where Modification was travelling 6th till it turned for home and gradually gained a few places and finished on a close second, 3/4 length behind the winner, that was Logano. Number 4 is Beat the Bank. Beat the Bank's last outing was in the winter season in race number 183 over 1600 meters, where Beat the Bank, after much efforts, finished on 4th, and the winner of that race was Zena. Number 5, we're looking at Sicario. Sicario's had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 2 over 5.5 furlongs, that's 1100 meters, where Sicario finished a faraway third, 8 lengths behind the winner, that was Shania's Pet. Also in the same race we had number 6, that is Havana Grey, who finished on 5th. Number 7 will be Constance. Constance's last outing was in the winter in race number 197 over 1600 meters, where Constance, after much efforts, finished on 11th right at the back end of the field, and the winner of that race was Singapore Gata. We move on to the second race, which is the Kaizen Plate, a handicap for maiden horses 3 years old, only rated 1 to 26, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. Number 1 would be Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier's last outing was in the winter in race number 200 over 1400 meters, where Le Corbusier finished on 8th. The winner of that race was Roxa, who came up with a good run on the outside and went on to win that race by about a length. Number 2 will be Swanlight. Swanlight's last outing was in the winter season in race number 127. That was its debut, where Swanlight finished on 6th after much efforts. The winner of that race was Fancoat. Number 3 will be Asmita. Speaking of which, out of Venus stars, Asmita. Last outing being in the winter in race number 205 over 1100 meters, and Asmita travelled 2nd till it turned for home and remained in that spot till about the distance post, and then gradually fell back to finish on 5th. Also in the same race we are looking at number 6, Tia Queen, who finished right at the back end to finish on 14th, and number 7, It's a Macau, who finished on 10th, but the eventual winner of that race was Astoria. Number 4 will be Happy. Be Happy's had 2 starts in its career. Last outing being in race number 149 over 1100 meters in the winter, where Be Happy finished on 10th. And the winner of that race was Ruby Cube, who won like a real star that day, went on to win it by 4 lengths. Number 5, you're looking at Dilmange More. Dilmange More's last outing was this monsoon meeting in race number 9 over 6 furlongs, so that's 1200 meters, where Dilmange More, after much efforts, running a bit erratic in the final stages of the race, finished on 7th. The winner of that race was Incendio. We move on to the third race, which is the Predator Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. We're looking at number 1, Marigold. Marigold's had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 7 over 1200 meters, and absolutely justified the favoritism was Marigold. Samid, out of Quiet Appeal, made it a pillar-to-post victory and went on to win it by 1 length and 3/4 by beating X-Light. Number 2, we're looking at Shania Spet. Shania Spet has had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 2 over 5.5 furlongs, and Shania Spet made it a pillar-to-post victory as well. Went on to win it by 4 lengths, stretched even better in the final stages of the race by beating Stelvio Pass, who finished on 2nd. Also in the same race, we had number 8, Happy Returns, who finished on 9th. Number 3 would be Shimmering Star. Shimmering Star just had one start, that was in the winter season in race number 31 over 1400 meters, where Shimmering Star finished on 6th after much efforts, and the winner of that race was stablemate Pellian. Number 4 will be Winner's Delight. Winner's Delight's last outing was in the winter season in race number 203 over a mile, where Winner's Delight, after much efforts, finished on 4th. Right on the center of the track is Winner's Delight. You can see getting a few reminders, and finished on 4th was Winner's Delight. Also in the same race was number 7, The Last Judgment, who finished on 9th. The winner was Duchamp. Number 5 will be Artificial. Artificial's last outing was in the winter in race number 137 over 1200 meters, where Artificial travelled 2nd till it turned for home and remained in that spot till the distance post, and then faded away and finished on 4th was Artificial, and the winner of that race was Mrs. Willy-Nilly. Number 6, we're looking at Imprimatur. Imprimatur's last outing was in the winter season in race number 179 over 1200 meters, where Imprimatur finished 2nd last in a field of 14. Finished on 13th was Imprimatur. Winner was Skyden. Number 9 will be Fight of Honor. Fight of Honor's last outing was in the winter in race number 198 over 1200 meters, where Fight of Honor, after much efforts, finished on 8th, and the winner of that race was Baglioni. Number 10, we'll be looking at Rolly Polly. Rolly Polly's last outing was in the winter in race number 183 over 1600 meters, where Rolly Polly finished on 7th after travelling 4th till it turned for home, and then gradually faded back and finished on 7th, as I mentioned. The winner of that race was Zena. We move on to the 4th race, which is the Bella Rock Handicap, to be run over a distance of 1100 meters. A no whip race, 5 years old and over. Number 1, we're looking at Arashi. Arashi's last outing was in the winter season. That was its only outing here in Calcutta. And what an impressive one that was in race number 131 over 1200 meters, where Arashi came up with a very late run and went on to win it by a nose by beating the Kiss. Number 2 will be Gryffindor. Gryffindor's last outing was in the winter in race number 209 over 1200 meters, where Gryffindor travelled 3rd till it turned for home and remained in that spot till the distance post, and then gradually faded away and finished on 5th was Gryffindor. The winner of that race was Kramer. Number 3, we're looking at Serenino. Sereno's Pinson out of Serenity. Last outing being in the winter season, has had 4 starts in the winter, finished 2nd in one of the outings, and won 2 starts and one finished off the board. Last one being in race number 186 over 1100 meters, made it an impressive win, won it by 3/4 of a length by beating Stallone. Number 4, we're looking in Malana. Malana's last outing was in race number 193 over 1400 meters, where Malana travelled very wide in the final stages of the race, and then gradually finished on 5th was Malana. The winner of that race was Oak Brook. Number 5, we're looking at Next Star, Stern Opinion out of Miss Langkawi. Next Stars had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 1. That was the opener of the season over 1100 meters, and what an impressive one that was for Next Star. Made it a Polito Post victory, won it by 4 lengths, and the winner of that race was Next Star, as I mentioned, and Carpe Nocturne finished on second. Number 6, we're looking at Lady 2. Lady 2's new famous out of Silken Dancer had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 3 over 1100 meters, where Lady 2 led all the way and fell short just by her nose, got overtaken in the final stages by Lumos. That was the eventual winner, who won it by a nose. Also in the same race, we had number 8, Dancing Prince, who finished on 5th. Number 7 will be Tough Enough. Tough Enough's last outing was in the winter in race number 201 over 1400 meters, where Tough Enough finished on 6th after much efforts. Also in the same race, we had number 9, Panchovilla. Winning legend as a Sunshine Nil finished on 4th, and the winner of that race was Perpetual Winning, who won that race very impressively by about 8 lengths. Number 10 is Summerhill. Summerhill's last outing was in the winter season in race number 130 over 1400 meters, where Summerhill finished a close third after much efforts, and the winner of that race was Sanvi. Number 11 will be Coconut. Coconut's last outing, just one start this monsoon meeting in race number 5 over 1200 meters, where Coconut travelled very wide in the final stages of the race and just managed to finish on 4th out of 6 runners, and the winner of that race was The Kiss. We move on to the 5th race, which should be the feature, the Marinsky Cup, to be run over a distance of 1400 meters. Looking at number 1, Bang Bang. Bang Bang's last outing was in the winter season in race number 208 over 1400 meters, where Bang Bang travelled quite wide at the track in the final stages, finished on 9th after much efforts, and the winner of that race was Sheer Force. Number 2 will be Marbella. Marbella's last outing was in the winter season in race number 182 over 1400 meters, where Marbella finished on 5th, and the winner of that race was Arakawa, who came up with a strong run and went on to win it by 2.5 lengths. Number 3 will be Fancourt. Samit out of Oakdale is Fancourt. Has had 4 starts in the winter season. Won its start over 1400 meters in race number 127. Last outing being in race number 192 over the same distance. Finished on 6th was Fancourt, and the winner of that race was Murakami. But keep your eyes out on Fancourt. Number 4 will be Kaiden. Netwiz out of Kentucky Queen is Kaiden. Has had one start this monsoon meeting. Finished on 5th in race number 6 after much efforts over 1200 meters. Also in the same race, we are looking at number 8, Cool Conqueror, who finished on 9th. The eventual winner of that race was Bakari, who got that race by 3/4 of a length, right near the post. Number 5 will be Fire Opal. Arazan out of Zeffirella is Fire Opal. One start in the winter season, that was over the distance of 1600 meters in the 1000 guineas in race number 29, where Fire Opal finished on 6th, and the winner of that race was the star herself, Adjudicate. Number 6 will be Diamond Harbour. Diamond Harbour's had 2 starts in the winter season. In race number 16, finish off the board over 1200 meters, and then race number 205, that is the last one, over 5.5 furlongs, where Diamond Harbour, after much efforts, right down at the centre of the track, finished on 3rd, and the winner of that race was Kafira. Number 7 will be Yuvan. Yuvan's last outing was in the winter season over a grueling distance of 2000 meters, where Yuvan finished on 2nd after much effort, just 3/4 length behind the winner. That was Porus. We move on to the sixth race, which is the Gloriosa handicap to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. Number 1, we're looking at Admiral HATSU. Admiral HATSU's out of Admiral of the Fleet out of Atsuana. One start this monsoon meeting over 5.5 furlongs, and quite an impressive one that was by Admiral HATSU. Finished quite a far away second, 6.5 lengths behind the winner. That was Kramer, who was just that too good that day. Also in the same race, we had number 4, MYGRATOR, who finished on 5th. Number 2 will be Oakbrook. Oakbrook's last outing was in race number 193 in the winter over 1400 meters, and quite an impressive one that was. And Oakbrook went on to win that race by about a length by beating Multivalue. Also in the same race, we had number 3, Poet, who did meet up with some interference down in the straight and finished on 7th was Poet. Number 5, we're looking at Perpetual Winning. Perpetual Winning's net whiz out of Perpetual Glory has had 2 starts in the winter season, and both its outings here in Calcutta has been absolutely magnificent. Won both its outings. First outing won it by 8 lengths, and the last outing, as you're watching now on your screens, is race number 210 over 1200 meters, where Perpetual Winning won it by 5 lengths by beating Enchanted. Number 6 will be Carbonara. Carbonara's last outing was in the winter in race number 209 over 1200 meters, where Carbonara finished right at the back end to finish on 10th. The winner of that race was Kramer. Number 7, we're looking at Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson's last outing was in race number 173 over a mile. As you can see on the wide outside of the picture, came Smith & Wesson with a real rattle and went on to win it by a length and a quarter by beating Rule Down Under. Number 8 will be Midnight Star. Midnight Star's had one outing this monsoon meeting in race number 5 over 1200 meters and couldn't make much out of an impression. There was Midnight Star, finished on 5th, and the winner of that race was The Kiss, who won that by 3 lengths. Number 9 will be Arjuna. Arjuna's last outing was in the winter in race number 196 over 1600 meters. Fell unlucky was Arjuna in its last start. Led all the way, and then eventually in the final stages just got overtaken there by Furel, and Furel won it by half a length by beating Arjuna. We move on to the 7th and last race, which will be the Apollo Tina handicap to be run over a distance of 1200 meters. Number 1, I'll be looking at Levante. Has had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 3 over 1100 meters, where Levante, after much efforts and getting a few reminders in the final stages, finished on 6th, and the winner of that race was Lumos, who came up with a real rattle on the outside and won it by a nose. Number 2 will be Dash. Win legend out of Ice Point is Dash. Last outing being over 2,800 meters in the winter season in race number 174, where Dash finished on 6th, quite detached from the field, and the winner of that race was stablemate Shivansh. Number 3 will be Aftershock, Arazan out of Guy Grant's Girl. Last outing was in the winter in race number 187 over a mile. Led till the distance post and then eventually overtaken on the outside by Trafalgar, who went on to win it by 2 lengths, and Aftershock finished on 3rd. You need to keep a watch out this afternoon for Aftershock. Number 4 will be Bakari. What's the script out of Shanghai Girl is Bakari. One start in the monsoon meeting in race number 6 and sprung a surprise at a 5-1 shot was Bakari that afternoon. Came up with a real rattle and went on to win it by 3/4 of a length by beating White Walker just near the post. Number 5 will be Rustler. Rustlers had one start this monsoon meeting in race number 8 over 1200 meters, where Rustler caught towards the rail side and finished on 4th after much effort. So the winner of that race was Millennium Glory, who was too good that day and won that race by a short head. Number 6 will be Uncrowned King. Uncrowned Kings had one start this monsoon meeting, I beg your pardon, in race number 10 over 1100 meters, where Uncrowned King, after much efforts, finished on 8th, and the winner of that race was Astoria, who won it by a long neck. Number 7 will be Moira. Moira's had one start this season and race number 1 right at the opener over 1100 meters, where Moira, after much efforts, finished on 5th towards the rail side, and the winner of that race was Next Star, who won it by 4 lengths. Number 8 will be Porous. Rebuttaler of Anakita finished on 10th in its last start in race number 189, that was in the winter season, over 1600 meters. As you can see, after much efforts, couldn't get much out of Porous, finished on 10th, and the winner of that race was 7 Step, who won it by 3/4 of a length. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and hope to see you again tomorrow afternoon at the races at the Royal Calcutta Turf Club.